Hey everyone, Justin Burgess here. Today I have Brian Del Savio with New Benefits on the phone today. I got introduced to New Benefits in a past relationship because I was always looking for more to do with my clients, and it kind of got frustrating around the COVID age of just getting large increases and not be able to deliver solutions, and to find solutions that worked for employers of different sizes was very important to me. And ended up was working on an opportunity where it was about 100 different franchises, and these were low paid employees, and I was looking for a solution that could cater to, we want to provide something to everybody at a low cost, and got connected to New Benefits, and just was very excited about their presence in the market and the carrier partners they have behind the scenes and how easy it was for brokers. So Brian, let's give a quick introduction about yourself and the history of New Benefits.
Yeah, thanks so much, Justin. Thanks for having me. My name is Brian Del Savio. I'm VP of Sales at a company called New Benefits. And New Benefits has been helping employee benefit firms, associations, affinity groups, basically easily vet and then implement all the different types of non-insured enhanced benefits in the marketplace for their clients. So we started out in 1990 solely as a vision discount company. And then basically ever since then, over the last 34 years, we've been adapting to meet the needs of our marketer partners, and obviously the end users, which would be the employees and association members. To whereas today we have everything from telemedicine, mental health, fertility, caregiver support, advocacy programs, and then we bundle everything into white labeled programs for each group, including the technology as well.
Give us a little background on yourself. How long you been in the insurance industry and just your personal life?
Yeah, I've been with New Benefits for this is my 10th year, actually, exactly my 10th year. And I before that I was in the financial advising industry. I was with Guardian Life. Started out up in the Northeast and built a practice up there, and kind of got into the non-insured benefit world by like everybody else. Everybody has their story, but just looking back, it's funny how it happened. I was actually looking for solutions that could help my clients basically save money on their out-of-pocket expenses. Because as I was doing the fact finding for these families, I noticed that a lot of these people I was working with for the financial advising, they had a great incomes, everything looked good on out of the gate, and then all of a sudden they had a ton of debt. And a lot of times when you dug deeper, that was coming from out of pocket medical expenses from one of the spouses or someone in the family. And then my wife was actually going through a lot as well when we were recently married. We were struggling to start a family. So all this was happening at the same time, and I actually started searching when I was in Dallas at a Guardian event for these types of things, discounts on prescriptions, different types of solutions that can save you money on out-of-pocket expenses, and on and on and on. And New Benefits came up, and it happened to be like 5 minutes down the road from where I was sitting. So on a break, I kind of just went down the street and walked in the front door, and I guess the rest is history from there.
That's a fun story. I'm coming up on 10 years in the business myself, and I, didn't think it would be a long-term um, career for me, but I'm loving it. And I was in a family business, and found my way into insurance by accident, but I'm loving it. I mean, what kind of got me excited about New Benefits was the ability to offer all these different products to employers of different sizes, whereas a 50 life group can't go and get all these services by themselves. So that'd be the first question. So, as New Benefits aggregates over the 30 of the top benefits into customizable packages, how do we ensure that these options meet the diverse needs of an RV dealer, a car dealer, or a restaurant group, while maintaining the simplicity and administering this stuff? Because the last thing employers want to do is, hey, let's do voluntary benefits or something. Like, how do we administer it? So give us some feedback on that.
For sure. Yeah, I mean that's a huge component to properly implementing, these non-insured enhanced benefits and point solutions, whatever you want to call it. It's that what you mentioned is there's so many different types of industries, types of groups. All these groups have their different cultures, what they're focusing on. They also have different problems that they're trying to solve. So I always try to, be that guide and help the consultants that I work with across the country, kind of uncover what the specific problems are for each group, what their culture is. Most of these groups will have different employee classes. They'll have full-time employees, part-time employees, those on the medical plan, off the medical plan, maybe even seasonal employees. So there's so many different problems that each of these groups have, and oftentimes they're unique to each one of these groups as well. So once we realize what the problems are and what the group, what's important to each group, then we can kind of go back to the drawing board and then put together some completely customizable benefit packages in one place for that employer group or association to have to implement for their employees or members. And then to your point, from the administration standpoint, not only does that save the group a ton of time having to try and research all these solutions separately, and I've seen it where HR teams have told me and a consultant on phone calls that they would have done this themselves. It would have took them, a couple of years to figure out all these solutions by themselves. So it saves the HR teams a ton of time, but it also saves them a ton of administration, because what typically happens is the group will implement one point solution one year, then they see the next shiny object or next problem, they implement another one the next year, and they end up getting, multiple different file feeds and invoices coming from all these different vendors. It creates a lot of additional administration on the HR team and a lot of confusion for the employees as well, which is just additional administration on the HR team as well. So when working with the benefits, consultants are able to bring kind of a single source solution to their groups. And then there's literally just one invoice, one consolidated invoice, and one automated eligibility file feed between the group and new benefits, or the Ben Admin system and new benefits. And new benefits will pay all the vendors behind the scenes. We'll also report eligibility to all the vendors behind the scenes. And in the future, if anything changes, we can literally just plug in or take out any benefits into that same file feed and invoice and member experience. So nothing really changes in terms of administration.
Yeah, so how it starts for me is that, like, hey, we have these class of employees that are really not eligible for the traditional insurance. However, they're hard to get. Like, I have an organization that has a lot of like summer intern type people, that smoothie franchise that I was talking about. Like, they're college level employees, not making a ton, but we need to hire people. So if we can give them free mental health services or discount RX stuff or like pet insurance, we can do that in an easier way than saying, hey, let me go directly to this telemedicine vendor, the thing over here. It's kind of putting it in an easier point solution for everybody. So that brings up kind of my next, with services like ManifestRx, Kindbody, and Galileo, how does new benefits stay ahead of the industry and help me bring creative solutions versus me as the broker having to go vet all these different solutions? What's that process like?
Yeah, those are three different vendors, actually. Three of the, I think, four vendors that we added this year, actually, to our portfolio. So we have an entire vendor relations team at New Benefits that for these last 3 decades have been focused solely on vetting all the different non-insured point solutions in the marketplace. And they go through a lot of different point solutions on a daily basis. And a lot of the vendors that actually get into our portfolio are typically referred to us by the consultants we work with across the country and the associations. So that's typically how it works. We're really partners with the consultants across the country. We don't really view ourselves as like a vendor. It's more of a partner and a resource to the consulting firm. And then we're gathering that data, what we're seeing across the country. You may have seen like our broker pulse survey we just had sent out and provided to all of our consultants. We also have our benefit innovation report that we put together based on our insights for 2025. And then, yeah, exactly. So the consultants know that they can focus on the core healthcare, health insurance or healthcare strategies that they're implementing for their groups. But then they know they can lean on New Benefits as a partner who is really kind of that guide to them and can help them implement all these other solutions in a very streamlined manner that these groups are asking for. So it really helps the consultants become much more sticky, in my opinion, and just bring additional value to those groups from those consultants.
Yeah, I would have to say my brain is fried on the medical just alone, the captive consortiums, reference-based pricing, just the strategy on actual cost containment, that when you get asked a question about fertility, you're like, wait, I remember talking to this one vendor. I think they might work with you. I know they had some size requirements. So, having a partner in my back pocket that I can say, hey, got a 100 life group, got 75 enrolled on medical. What can we offer them? Like that's the key. And I was telling Brian, my LinkedIn DM is filled with carrier reps every day from different type of vendors wanting to reach out to me. While I love connecting with different people, sometimes you just don't have the time of day to vet a new vendor, even though I think they're great and I think they'll be a great solution. You just don't have the time with your dealing with your clients and prospects. So it's nice to have someone that kind of vets these different vendors for us to help our clients.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the other thing you mentioned, I think, is, for every one of your groups, I mean, you may have a group that has a mech plan, right? That has like no pharmacy in the base level or something like that. Or you may have, like you said, all the way up to reference-based pricing groups. I just got off the phone with somebody who does kind of custom direct pricing plans. So that's the key, is like when it comes to these point solutions, there could be all different types of solutions that the consultant is implementing as kind of the core solution, if you will. And then being able to have a resource to kind of, all right, let's come in here, let's look at any gaps, let's look at that core plan and then kind of enhance it a little bit further based on what the core plan is doing and then what the group is looking for. That's where I think a lot of times that piece is missed by consultants, not because anything wrong by them, just because, to your point, their brains are fried and they're overwhelmed with their core solutions that they're implementing for their groups.
Yeah. Next kind of thought is, virtual healthcare, mental health care support, and financial wellness are kind of the top three hit items for most employers right now. Which strategies are you seeing to help employers drive awareness to these products? Because a lot of the times we just put stuff in benefit guides, we put stuff in online portals, payroll systems, and we as the broker are getting reached out to employees like, hey, what's that solution that we did for this? Like, how does the mobile app, the client portal, how does that help get that to the end user? Like, they're not having to reach out to HR to remind, hey, what was that thing again? So what is New Benefits doing to help consultants and HR directors kind of get that messaging out to end user?
Yeah, it's so important. So just like there's different employee classes and different, generations in the workforce, the way employees are going to access their benefits are going to be different also. So what New Benefits does is we have an on-site print center at New Benefits where we print hard copy membership booklets and cards that we actually mail to the employees. You may have an employee that doesn't want to download an app or go on a computer. So they have everything they need in that membership booklet and the cards. They can simply call the phone numbers and access the benefits that way. We also have, obviously, we have a member portal and a mobile app as well. Now, everyone thinks, who needs another mobile app? There's mobile apps everywhere now. But that is the problem, is that each one of these vendors typically have their own mobile app, their own member portal, their own, emails and passwords with the employees that they remember. Some of the benefits are embedded in the health plan, and it just becomes very confusing for the employees to actually know where to go to access the benefits. So New Benefits is basically that single source membership. We can brand everything to the group, by the way. So the membership kits, the booklets, the cards, the mobile app, the member portal, everything is branded to the group. And then the employees can most of them will use the app, and they'll just log into that app and access all their benefits via single sign-on. So you don't have to remember any emails or passwords. All their benefits are in one place. And we actually take it a step further. We include information and summaries of benefits and coverage on the actual other products that we're not administering, like the core health insurance, the dental, vision, right, group life, disability. All that information can be added to the membership experience for the employees to access all that information in one place. And I would just say the last piece of that puzzle is having a concierge service built around specifically all the enhanced benefits. So New Benefits includes that automatically in what we do. We have a member support team that are English and Spanish speaking, located here in the United States, headquartered in Dallas, Texas. And they can answer any questions that the employees and members have on any of the point solutions, whether it's I'm part of a 1,000 life employer paid group. I just got this information. I don't even know what this is. We can help them with that. Or I need a telemedicine visit. Let me help you with your medical history and warm transfer you to get your consult set up. We have an amazing concierge team to help with all those benefits as well. So the employees don't need to be bothering the HR team with any of these benefits.
Yeah, I want to share a personal experience. So when I transitioned to my new company, I was actually under an old telemedicine policy. When I transferred to my new company, we had the same vendor. I won't name any names. Wasn't feeling well, tried to sign up, had my old account, had to merge it to a new account. It was just a process. And I was like, you're sick. I'm smart. I know what to do in the space. And it took me like over 45 minutes. I had to call the vendor and say, hey, I work for this company. Now I work for this company. I like to book an appointment. I ended up just giving up. I was like, I'm done. I can't spend any more time on this. But having the single source sign on for all your partners in one system is game changing, because you're not going to, employees get frustrated with that whole process for everything in our lives. The other thing too, and I started doing demographic analysis for most of my employers, like just doing a census, taking the ages, genders, generation types, and you have a population that wants to do an app, like me and Brian. Then you have the population that doesn't want to do anything. You have the population that only wants to call. You have people that want to text. And so you kind of have to cater to everybody. And I feel like the larger employers of the world have just gone to, online enrollment systems, benefit guides, maybe a call center. And, we don't do in-person meetings anymore. We don't print stuff. So having the ability to kind of cater to the different types of employees is what's helpful for employers. Right, Brian?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. And then, even like the actual vendors. So like when you work with a wholesaler and aggregator of all these different point solutions, it's not like you're working with just one vendor. So for example, at New Benefits, you mentioned telemedicine, which a lot of people do New Benefits for a while there as like a telemedicine vendor because we were like the first, our CEO was like the first corporate console of Teladoc. I think we administer about 500,000 lives with them still, just with that one vendor. But we're more of a marketplace, and I guess you would call it carrier agnostic if you want to use like an industry term. We basically have 4 different telemedicine vendors in our portfolio, which consultants can choose from. And maybe it is one of those vendors that you worked with before, by the way, Justin, and we'll just say, hey, let's not use them, let's use this one. Or maybe a group has a specific preference on a vendor, possibly. So we like to really give options. Obviously, we handle a lot of that up front with our vetting process where we don't get into those situations. And then based on the volume we do, we have like direct separate phone numbers with these vendors and things like that as well, which we can monitor. But so hopefully it never gets there. But of course, there'll be an issue every now and again. But I think the key is being able to provide options. So even like Kindbody, so that's another fertility vendor. We have Win Fertility and we have Kindbody, 2 different options. All right, very similar, but some differences. So I think the key is also offering options when it comes to different vendors as well, and figuring out which ones make the most sense again for the specific group that you're working on at that time.
That's my biggest struggle, and I'd say the last 5 years of the working in the health insurance space, the amount of options just for everything it's been crazy. We had Humana pull out the market in Louisiana. In my market, Blue Cross and United Healthcare are the really only fully insured players. Cigna, Aetna don't quote down here. We do have some, other type of medical providers that quote down here, but we're starting to lose carrier interest in the market, and it's frustrating. And so I think groups are always asking about, hey, what can I do more? And voluntary benefits doesn't just do it for you. The traditional accident, cancer, critical illness policies, those are great, but like in reality, we've heard about that for years. That's been around for 10 plus years. And employers and employees are looking for the fertility type benefits. I used it for me and my wife. Thankfully, we didn't have to go down the path of actually needing it, but I called the fertility line and said, hey, this is what I kind of think's going on. Can you recommend some options for us? And they actually recommended to a client of mine. I was trying to not go to the client, but they recommended the 2 places. One was a client, one wasn't. But it was nice to be able to talk to somebody and just go through the process of like, hey, I think we're having some fertility issues. What can you help me with? What are the options if I want to go seek attention? And for me, as someone like, I'm a shy going to a doctor saying I need help. So I like the ability to go on an app or talk to someone that I've never heard of before. I didn't want to go to my client and said, hey, I think something's going on. But I was impressed with the follow-up throughout the process. And, what kind of got me too is like, I remembered in the presentation that they mentioned, oh, we have this new benefit. So I think as employers are doing open enrollment, highlighting the new benefits that you have this year through partners like New Benefits is important, and saying, hey, team, you have to do something each month, like breast cancer month, maybe you should do a little pitch and saying this, or I'm not sure when financial wellness month is. I know it's somewhere in the summer, I think. But just reminding people of the solutions that you have, because otherwise you do it for open enrollment and it just goes poof. It's like we forgot about it. But sending constant reminders of like, hey, get your flu shots. Have you used a telemedicine? With these solutions, we can see the utilization rates versus like if you have telemedicine baked in with your health insurance carrier, yes, it's great, it's free, but you have no insight of what's going on. Correct? What do y'all like?
Exactly. And if you do,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say, and if you do have the insights, typically the insights probably tell you with telemedicine. I mean, most of the time it's maybe 1 to 3% utilization, uh, sometimes higher. But again, it's difficult for employees to know how to use those products when they're in bed in the health plan. And also, you got to think more long term sometimes, and it's hard for consultants to do that when it comes to the enhanced benefits because, like we said, they're focused so much on the core solutions. But then what happens? Maybe it is a fully insured product or whatever else they're providing for the core insurance. And then next year you get that huge rate increase, and now you got to change carriers. Well, guess what? Whatever you were relying on inside of that health plan, now all of a sudden you're losing those options moving forward.
Lost you there.
Sorry, you're
Yep.
back.
So, what about the different partners that you're relying on, and just picking up on different vendors that you have access to?
Yeah, so sometimes if you have if you're relying on the kind of any benefits that are included as part of the core healthcare plan, embed in the plan, if you change carriers next year, it's something to consider because then the employee's got to figure out a whole new process to access their benefits for those enhanced benefits the next year. So it's just something to consider. If something's working, then I always say let's leave it alone. On top of that, maybe we add information into the single source membership experience to encourage employees to still access those benefits that they're getting elsewhere. Because if they're working, let's not mess with it. But always looking to enhance that. And then to your point, throughout the year, let's make sure that we have a system in place through emails, right? Not too much, but just emails at the right time, through push notifications in the mobile app, just reminding those employees that they have access to those benefits throughout the year. And how it works is when they're all in one place. An employee may go into that app for a telemedicine visit, but then they realize they have their pharmacy benefit in there, or they have discounts on something else in there, like travel or deals on other things. And it's just kind of like once they go back there over and over again, it's just very easy for them to understand how to use their benefits, and reminds them they have access to all their benefits in one place throughout the year. So utilization is typically much higher than them having to go remember where to go to multiple different sources to access those benefits.
I'll kind of end it on this, and I'll give you a chance to end it as well. But I introduced an app to one of my good clients, and I was at one of their parties for one of their clients, and was at a table of all their employees. And the one person came up to me, she's like, "I really love that app that you installed for us this year. Like, my husband does the telemedicine all the time. Really cool." Then three of the other employers were like, "Hey, we have an app." I'm like, "Were y'all not listening to me when I stand up in front of the conference room and said, hey, we're rolling out this cool solution?" So you need one champion inside of an organization to kind of drive a lot of this for you. And it's taken one person as a positive experience and, hey, I did this, they had this for me, and I got it done quickly. And as you're doing open enrollment the second year, you're like, "Hey, Brian, I want you to give us a little quick shout out on your experience with the new benefits and how you liked it." "Oh, I loved it. Like, was at the pharmacy. I didn't, this wasn't covering it, but new benefits had a little discount thing that got it for free." Like, that's how you get a win. But Brian, just end it with your final thoughts on like what are the things that employers are looking for as we come into 2025? Like, what are the top things I'm reaching out to you and say, "Hey, my clients are asking this."
Yeah, I think it's been really more of these types of solutions that show the employees that you actually care about them specifically and their families. Whether you want to call that work-life balance, I kind of call it work-life integration now, because especially after COVID, there's a lot more people still working from home. That's constantly changing. It's like, what can we do to show the employees that you actually care about them and their families?
You're back. You were starting with what can you do? There, Brian? You there, Brian? Brian, hello. Brian, can you hear me? Hello, Brian.